All right, let's bring in legal analyst and trial attorney Kelly Hyman. Kelly, great to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. So Michael McKee did not speak during this very quick hearing. The judge entered his not guilty plea on all charges. We know things happened quickly. He is still in custody. His attorney waiving any bond hearing. Talk about the strategy with that.
So in the bond hearing, it means that someone could be eligible to get out of jail while they're waiting for the case to go to trial. Now, there's certain factors that the court considers in the bond hearing, whether someone is going to be a flight risk, the severity of the charges. We have to remember here, the charges are very severe. There are 4 counts of aggravated murder and also burglary as well in this case. And so based on that, his attorney most likely advised him that due to the severity of the charges that you most likely will not be out on bond. So it's best to waive that and sit in jail until the case goes to trial.
All right, Kelly. So we heard from Mills there that McKee could now face a maximum sentence of life in prison with no possibility of parole. He could also face the death penalty, although Ohio has not carried out an execution since 2018. Now, McKee, who again is a vascular surgeon, has retained a local high-profile attorney. She has defended about 36 people facing the death penalty. She's described herself as being highly opposed to that punishment, to the death penalty. How significant, Kelly, do you think it is that is why he chose this attorney?
Does the punishment fit the crime? And so I think that's really important to think about that. But as a defense, you want someone who's going to represent you and advocate for your interests. And you want an attorney that has the experience. You want an attorney that has the expertise. You want an attorney that has tried a case before and has that kind of knowledge. And his attorney has worked on high-profile cases before. His attorney has worked on criminal cases before and has that knowledge and expertise. And that's what a defendant wants from a defendant standpoint, someone who's really experienced that's going to present them in the best light moving forward.
So prosecutors are alleging that McKee used a silencer to muffle the shots, that he is the person seen walking down that alley near the Tepe's home in that surveillance video. They're saying his car has been identified as traveling near the house, that a gun found in his Illinois home was traced to evidence at the scene. From your perspective as a trial attorney, how damning is this evidence?
It is pretty powerful evidence. Now, we have to remember that the prosecution brings the case, and what that means is they must prove every element of the crime. Now, when they have such strong evidence, that is very convincing, but ultimately it will be up to the jury based on the facts and circumstances that are presented in order to make a determination of whether to find someone, in fact, guilty or innocent of the charges.
All right, Kelly, so McKee and Monique Tepe divorced several years ago. Lots of people are scratching their heads at a possible motive here. When do you think we will start to hear about some possible motivation in this crime?
I think as we gather evidence and we hear more information that comes out about this case, I think that will help understand why did he allegedly do this. You always think about what is someone's motive? What is someone's thought of doing something? Now, it's also important to remember in these type of cases, motive is not an element of the crime. You don't have to prove a motive, but juries that hear evidence, juries that hear testimony, juries that hear what is presented always wonder, why did someone do this? Here we have in these facts that they were married for a short period of time from 2015 to 2017. Here we are in 2026. Why would someone, after so many years, want to allegedly kill someone? What is the reasoning behind that? But I believe that facts are slowly going to come out in this case as we get more information.
And last question for you. We know he's pleaded not guilty. Do you think this case ultimately goes to trial, or do you think we are likely to see some type of plea deal?
I believe that this case is ultimately going to go to trial because of the fact that there is such a strong impact that this case has, not only to the family. It's also important to remember that Monique and Spencer had young children, a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, that no longer have any parents. And so the family wants justice. The family wants accountability. The family wants to hold someone accountable for this case. And so in these types of high-profile cases, usually the prosecution will discuss with the family of what they want. And sometimes, in some cases, that the family wants justice, and that means going to trial. But in other cases, sometimes the family want accountability, or for someone to come forward and say, yes, in fact, I did this, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail.
Legal analyst and trial attorney Kelly Hyman, thank you so much for your time today.
Great to see you.
Well, Luigi